Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Love Station. Yes, it is Valentine's Day, a day to celebrate joy and romance, or as us single people know it, jealousy and resentment, as we must endure another timeline of all of our friends and family in committed relationships just being oh so frickin' happy about it. Congratulations, Tyler, you got someone to look past your glaring flaws. My grandma does it all the time. So as is tradition for us single folks around this time of year, we must now remind ourselves of the universal truth that other people are terrifying and that bringing them into your life will only result in chaos and turmoil. And it's for that purpose that I like turning to internet forums such as r/relationships, a subreddit which allows people to anonymously and unfiltered discuss all of the qualms in their current relationship. So I've handcrafted a few pots of sizzling hot tea for us to discuss upon, perhaps give advice to what the poster should do in this scenario. These are all genuinely posts that were made in the r/relationships subreddit, and the first entry of our reading series is titled, "My Fiancé's Hobby is Driving Me Crazy." And in this case, the woman is 32 years old while the man is 33. Hello everyone. I have been in a committed relationship with my fiancé for more than 7 years, and we have been living together since 2015. He is an animal lover. He had cats, birds, dogs, hedgehogs, even a ferret for a short period of time. Since we moved in together, we agreed to have only one pet, a cat. Everything was going smooth until one day he wanted an aquarium. I said fine because, it's just some fish swimming in an enclosed space and they look nice, so I didn't hesitate to say yes. In just 1 year, the number of aquariums in the house rose to 6. So is this his new hobby? It's just buying aquariums. Right now, there are 12 aquariums in the house. There is no free space in our house anymore. Wherever I look, I see aquariums, filters, lamps, and other aquarium-related stuff. I wonder what the vibe in the house was like when he came home with the 11th aquarium. Honey, guess what I've got? Oh, that suits the house nicely. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's really missing something, isn't it? Wherever I look, I see aquariums, filters, lamps, and other aquarium-related stuff. Our house isn't even that big. This poor woman is just getting enclosed in aquariums. The walls are just moving in as more and more fish appear. I imagine they're just gonna have to call it at some point and just move directly into the ocean. The other problem is money. We both work and have decent jobs, but taking care of 12 aquariums is quite expensive. More than half of his salary just goes to aquarium expenses. I've been caught up in that game before. Just living paycheck to paycheck, trying to scrounge enough money together for the Fluval A207-206 external filter. He always buys the most expensive equipment, most expensive fish food, most expensive supplements, and the most expensive fish. Recently, he bought a fish for $500. He's financially hurting himself. That is, okay, we are in legitimate problem territory. We've been there for a while, actually. Scratch that. A $500 fish. That fish better do some fucking crazy shit. That must be like a fucking dolphin or something. The other thing is we stopped traveling. We used to travel all over the world, but since he can't leave his swimming babies alone for long, we can't leave the house for more than a day. What should I do? I don't want to break his heart, but I can't continue to live with this amount of fish in my life. I don't want to leave him. I want him to compromise and agree to have one aquarium. I know he is going to react in a bad way. How should I handle this? Yeah, I would say you're definitely approaching this from a level-headed manner. I, too, wouldn't know how to live with 12 aquariums in my house. Assuming that there is a reasonable man deep down in this aquarium junkie, I would just go for the option of having an intervention, bringing all of his friends into the room and not having them sit down because there's too many aquariums in the way, and just have that be the focus. Bill, I love you and I want to stay with you, but at the same time, look at all of these fish. I need space to breathe. Literally, there's too much water here. I can't do that. How do you even get to 12 aquariums? This man once looked at a house with 6 aquariums in it and thought, you know what this needs? 6 more aquariums. I really do hope that there was some resolution to this. As cynical as I sound, I believe in the power of love to overcome the power of fish. There's a part of me that still needs to believe that. So I hope that Reddit user IIIBudget5 was able to find a solution to this. Okay, so the title of this next one is My Girlfriend's Obsession with Eggs is Damaging Our Relationship. And he is 27 while she is 26. My girlfriend and I have been together for about 6 months so far, and it's been great, but she's obsessed with eating eggs and leaving every form of egg waste everywhere. Shells, whites, yolks, egg cups, egg slicers. She eats anywhere between 4 to maybe 15 eggs a day. So many that she loses count. She eats them mostly by hand and makes some attempt to put the shells in the bin, but I'd say only 70% actually make it there. The rest end up in her carpet, bed sheets, car, bathroom, etc. You're eating 4 to 15 eggs a day, you hardly have the time to keep track of where they end up. Twice I have found her cat walking around with tiny bits of eggshell in its fur. Last week she was driving me to a job interview. She'd left a half-eaten egg on the passenger seat, and obviously I accidentally sat right in it and had egg all over the side of my pants. She left an egg on the passenger seat. I was driving along. Oh, this egg is delicious. I think I'm gonna leave it right here, for later. I told her I felt upset, and she just laughed and said it was my fault for not checking when I sat down. I mean, fair is fair. You've been living with this girl for long enough to pick up on her attitude towards eggs. You might as well check the seat once you sit down. Other times that I've tried to mention the whole egg thing, she says I'm being controlling and she can eat what she wants. I keep saying that I don't care about eating the eggs, just the fact that she leaves eggs and eggshells literally everywhere. Yesterday I found a half-eaten eggshell in the pocket of a jacket that I lent her. I tried washing it, but then egg got all over the rest of the load. I'm just imagining it wasn't because of the jacket at all, but that she actually cracked an egg into the laundry detergent cup in the washing machine. Is there any way I can make her see the issue with the whole egg thing, or is this a deal breaker? I'm not sure about this one. This might be a deal breaker, but only for the fact that I don't think you two are compatible with one another. I think she needs somebody who will match that energy in her life. And frankly, sir, you are too composed to be dealing with this eggy of a woman. That being said, if she's gonna be in a relationship, she needs at least some responsibility over the amount of eggs she's eating. Just have a plastic bag in the car for eggshells. Why did she leave it on the passenger seat? She can't just leave eggs places and be like, why'd you sit in the eggs, you idiot? Frankly, I don't think this is about the eggs at all. I think these two are just at completely different levels. This guy's trying to start a career, he's trying to get ahead in business, where on the other hand, the woman has just completely transcended all reality and is now living in her own yolky nirvana, leaving every form of egg waste everywhere, including egg cups and egg slicers. How many egg slicers do you need to own? I guess if you're eating 14 to 15 a day, that's fairly standard. You should have at least 3 or so. Just line up your eggs. Throw some at the cat, throw some at the neighbors. Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't think this one's gonna work out. This might be a deal breaker, and if it is, I hope you're both able to move on pretty well. Though I don't think she'll be fazed by it all too much, as she probably has enough eggs to overcome any heartbreak. Okay, and for our last reading series, we're gonna turn up the heat a little bit. Now, as we all know, the most juicy and most tantalizing of any relationship drama always happens in the bedroom. So let's move on to our final story. My boyfriend's incredibly specific fetish is weirder than it initially seemed. And in this situation, she is 21, while he is 26. I've been with my boyfriend for 4 years now. And everything has been going great. We never fight, never get tired of each other, and we're very close to each other's families. Despite the nature of this post, Even the sex has been fantastic, if a little over-adventurous. Over the years, we have flirted a little with a lot of generally kinky stuff, as well as some subtle role-playing. However, this role-play element has gradually become a very significant part of our sexual relationship over the past 3 months or so, and it has become increasingly dominated by a particular fantasy of his. Without going into too much detail about all the specificities of the fantasy, it involves me pretending to be the cruel, domineering captain of a small Irish fishing vessel, and him acting this isn't the specificities, and him acting as a clumsy and incompetent deckhand who is reluctantly courted and subsequently sexually humiliated by his boss, me. What else would the specificities be? What is it, like the number of fish you were able to catch? The number of aquariums you own? I should also add that in the fantasy, the whole encounter takes place at sea. Fair enough. It'd be weird if it were just like at the harbor or something in a fish and chips restaurant. Now, I'm sure many of you reading this are thinking, as I was, that it's ultimately a harmless fantasy, if not a little strange. Yeah, I don't really see anything initially wrong with this. Who doesn't enjoy a little bit of sexual humiliation here and there? Who amongst us... Never mind. I was initially happy to indulge him in this as this fantasy grew. I found it quite fun to put on the Irish accent, and teasing him for his exaggerated, bumbling stupidity actually became kinda hot. Honestly, this wasn't even the weirdest thing we had tried in bed. Anyway, I'm posting this because of a fairly drunken evening spent with his family at his home last night. I get on really well with his parents, who are lovely, and we often spend evenings with them in their living room watching TV and drinking Baileys. His parents are hippie types and have spent a lot of their lives traveling, as well as dabbling in all kinds of work, which became the topic of our conversation for a while last night. As this conversation went on, it became apparent that one of the many jobs they had both worked together was a fishing boat off the coast of Northern Ireland, on which his mom was the captain and his dad was a deckhand. No. No. This can go nowhere good at this point. We are nowhere in the vicinity of good. Good has left the building. There are wanted signs up outside of Good's house praying for his return. Obviously, I was taken aback by this and tried to signal some kind of surprise and confusion to my boyfriend, but he refused to meet my glances and began to look extremely uncomfortable. The worst part... I do not want to continue the sentence. I don't want to know how this gets worse. The worst part, however, is that towards the end of this conversation, she was getting increasingly drunk and said something like the following to me. Your boyfriend gets really embarrassed by this, but it was actually on that fishing boat that he was conceived. Why? This is the worst day. This is the worst day I've had. Reading this story was the worst thing that could have happened to me today. My boyfriend seemed mortified that his mum had told me this, and after turning bright red, excused himself to go to the bathroom. Afterwards, the conversation changed and the night continued as normal. Besides my boyfriend's mood being entirely off, geez, what's wrong? And even though we slept in his bed together last night, I haven't spoken with him about it yet. I honestly wouldn't know how. Is this as weird as it seems to me? I know people have all kinds of kinks that they can't help, and that we shouldn't shame them for, but still, I can't look past the family element of this. I'm not sure how I'm ever going to be able to be intimate with him again. This is a Shakespearean tragedy. Where do I even begin on this one? Where do I even start? First off, since when does anybody know how they were conceived? How does he have this information? The main fault in this, I feel, lies on the parents for living such rowdy lifestyles and maybe informing their son of too many of the details. No one needs to know how they were conceived. That is information I can go my entire life without. Not a single fiber of my being wants to know that. I don't feel good after that one. I don't feel good after reading that. I feel good for nobody in this scenario. Nobody. Because the parents don't know that their son is doing this. The girlfriend is only finding out the dark origin story of his beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy. And meanwhile, the boyfriend knows too much. This is a classic tale of the man who knew too much, including how he was conceived. Okay, yeah, we're gonna call it there. Love is never good. Love is over. Love is canceled. We're done with love. No more love until we get our shit together. Thank you, thank you for watching. If you liked hearing this, on the off chance that you did, you can hit the like button. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. I dropped my pencil. And if you want notifications for whenever I release this video, hit the bell. I hope you're having a nice Valentine's Day, regardless of whether you have anybody to have hot Irish fishing vessel roleplay with. My light's gone out back there. Whatever your future endeavors in love may be, I hope they are more successful than what we've read today. My name is Alex Mitro, and thank you so much for tuning in to 93.5 Friendship Station. Okay, and now we do the face for the thumbnail. This is like love. And now this is like confusion.